When? Now? Just point at me when you're ready. Good evening, everybody, and welcome here to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, on the campus of Piedmont International University, site of tonight's matchup on the women's side for the Lady Bruins. Now, so we appreciate them finding a way to make it up here for tonight's matchup as the Bruins look to get even on the season at 3-3 on the year, while Florida College trying to get their record up to 9-6 as they come in at 8-6 on the season under head coach David Wadlington. First, though, we're going to take a quick timeout, and when we come back, we will have the starting lineups and the opening tip between the Bruins and the Falcons after this here on the Bruins.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone.
And welcome back to courtside here again in Winston-Salem as we get set to bring you Bruins basketball, getting set to take on the Falcons from Florida College from down in Temple Terrace, Florida. Bring you all of today's action. Take a look first at the starting lineups. First for the Bruins in the home white uniforms trimmed in that powder blue with the gray trim, as well as Ashley Lane out there alongside number 20, Monifa Engel. And then we'll get you the rest of the starters here in just a moment. For the Falcons from Florida College, Sarah Lutz, Bailey Foote, Colin Springer, Ariana Tankersley, and Sajay Slatterer in the starting lineup tonight for the Falcons, as the tip is won by the Falcons, and we are underway with the Falcons in the road black uniforms trimmed in the red and white, moving from left to right on this opening possession of the basketball game. Trying to get it inside of this zone. Three-pointer from the near corner is no good for Tankersley, and a long rebound scrambled for, knocked out of bounds, last touch off of the Falcons. And out of bounds back over to the Bruins, who will get their first possession. Amaya Scott also in the starting lineup today for this Bruins team alongside Arian Rumpf. Joining Monifa Engel and Ashley Lane in the starting lineup. Zanaya Kessler also out there for the Bruins to start this one, as right down the middle of the lane goes Scott. Gets bumped on the way by, but is whistled for an illegal screen, it looks like, at the top, and so it'll be a turnover back over to the Falcons. So no score as of yet in this opening half, or opening quarter, I should say. 9:22 left to play in the first quarter, with the Falcons with the basketball moving from left to right. Slatterer at the top, moves it into the corner on the far side for Tankersley. Thought about the three, instead gets it back to Slatterer. Gets it back to Tankersley in the corner, who again passes up the open three and then throws it away. Pass deflected and stolen. Scott leads it ahead, trying to find Ashley Lane, but the pass a little bit too far ahead of her and out of bounds back over to the Falcons. So the Bruins with 2 possessions and 2 turnovers in the early going, keeping us scoreless through the opening minute. Lutz averaging nearly 20 points a game for this Florida College team. Bruins will try to keep her under wraps a little bit, as the Bruins, using the back screen against the zone, get it up to the top for Kessler. Fires a three. It's off the front of the rim. It's going to roll harmlessly out of play. Last touch off of the Bruins, and the Falcons will have it back. Still looking for our first points of the ball game, as both sides utilizing this 3-2 zone to really limit things around the painted area offensively in the early going in this one. Right in the middle of the lane was Lutz. Kicks it to the near side. An open three is no good for Springer. Rebound underneath the hoop. Put back is no good for Slatterer. Trying to get a third opportunity at it, but rips it out of there to Zanaya Kessler for the Bruins, and then she's fouled. And a good job that time by Kessler holding her ground, able to draw the foul and get the possession back for the Bruins, with 8:08 left to play in this opening quarter. Ashley Lane will handle it out front again as the Falcons drop back into this 3-2 zone. 8-6 on the year are the visitors from the Sunshine State, who managed to drive all the way up here despite all the cold and the snow. Shot from the corner, no good for Ashley Lane, and a weak side rebound for Slatterer. Back the other way is Lutz. Stops on the wing, gets it on the baseline. Slatterer thought about the jumper. Double team comes, throws it dangerously across the lane. Manages to find a teammate, Bailey Foote, who lays it in for the first basket of the game and makes it 2-0 in favor of the Falcons. Kind of a dangerous pass that time for Florida College, but it works out. And they get on the board first in this one with 7:26 left to play in the opening quarter. 3 from the near corner is no good for Angle. An offensive rebound, though, for Rump. Putback is up and through for the first basket of the game. That one belongs to Monifa Angle, getting the cleanup and the miss. Ties the game at 2 with 7:10 here to play in this opening quarter. Three-pointer on the way from Foot. That one's no good. Karam's off the front of the rim, and a battle for the loose ball, and a foul that's going to go against the Falcons, it looks like. So the Bruins will get it back, still looking for their first lead of the game. And a matchup of two teams that don't have what you would consider the deepest benches. Coach Caleb Money joked with us before the game that this will be the first time maybe all season and maybe ever that he's got a team that's deeper than the opponent, as Florida College only brought 6 players with him tonight. So a lonely bench over there for Coach David Wadlington in his first year with the Falcons. Skip pass to the near wing. Scott fires a 3 and knocks it down. Amaya Scott knocks down the 3, makes it 5-2 in favor of the Bruins, their first lead of the ball game. Thought about trying to answer it, did Foot, nearly threw it away, comes back to Slatterer, and then Slatterer is bumped from behind and fouled. Substitution into the game, we'll get Sophie Barnes in. Barnes eligible for the first time this semester, making her first appearance for the Lady Bruins. The 5'6" senior. Now the Falcons throw it away again. Turnover's an issue early in this one for both sides. As you see, a little bit of frustration for Sarah Lutz at the lack of cohesion on the offensive end for the Falcons, who trail this one 5-2. Bruins with the basketball, moving from right to left to Sarah Lutz. Out front defending Ashley Lane. Good drop-off pass underneath for Cumberbatch, who lays it up and in. Alicia Cumberbatch, the 5'10" freshman, with her first basket, and it's a 7-0 run for the Bruins. Trying to lead it ahead for Lutz, but a reach-in foul that's going to go against Lane, matched up with her numerical counterpart there. So foul against Lane. Keeps the ball with the Falcons. That's the third against the Bruins in this first quarter. 6:09 still to play. On top 7-2. Near side for Lutz. Inside pass down low for Foot. Foot, though, nowhere to go. Loses the basketball, trying to dribble their way out of traffic, and now the ball tied up on the floor. And I believe we're going to get a timeout or a foul. It's going to be a foul. It's going to go against the Bruins. As Anaya Kessler in there aggressively whistled for the foul, which resulted in a reset of the shot clock with 6 minutes even left to play in this first quarter. And right off the inbounds pass, another reach-in foul. This one's going to go against Alicia Cumberbatch. As Cumberbatch trying to deny that entry pass off the inbounds. And that'll get a substitution into the game as Angle returns for the Bruins. Whip it far side, thought about the 3, did Foot. Extra pass into the corner, an open 3, bounces halfway down and out for Tankersley. And a long weak side rebound pulled out of there by Ashley Lane. Lane splits through a double team at midcourt, goes with a little stutter step around, gets 2 teammates, gets 2 Falcon players up in the air, draws the contact. Some nifty dribbling that time by Lane to weave her way through traffic and then draw the foul. And the foul is going to be on Lutz, and that would be a big one if the Bruins can put some fouls on her. The very talented junior. Third team foul against the Falcons. Inbounds pass right to the top, an open 3 for Monifa Angle off the front of the rim. Rebound battled for, had a hand on it for a moment, did Barnes, but it's pulled out of there by the Falcons. Falcons back the other way with it. Slatterer comes to the near side. Open 3 for Foot. Off the side of the rim, no. Battle for the loose ball taken away from behind by Slatterer. Second shot opportunity, no. Slatterer's got the miss on this one as well. Comes back to the top. Open 3 for Lutz is on the way. Way off to the left. It's tapped out of bounds. Last touch off of Slatterer and the Falcons. And the Bruins will have it back. So the score remains at 7-2 in favor of the Bruins with 5:15 left to play in this opening quarter. rough shooting start for both sides, but the Bruins making the most of it, as now Florida College will come with a 2-3 zone on this trip after a couple of open three-point tries for the Bruins, one of which went down. Shot right in the lane off the back of the iron, no, for Kessler, and the rebound cleared away by the Falcons and Colin Springer. Up the floor with it is Slatterer, goes with the crossover, gets all the way to the rim, throws it up, no, but a reach-in foul. That's going to go against the Bruins, and that's going to get Slatterer to the free throw line. Slatterer, the 5'7" senior, will be at the line, a chance to stop the run for the Bruins, who have scored the last 7 since the Falcons scored the opening points of the game. First one on the way, off to the side. More substitutions for the Bruins as Charlotta Hackett checks in. Arian Rumpf will sit. Second one on the way is up and through for Slatterer. So first points of the game for Slatterer, cuts the lead to 7-3 in favor of the Bruins, who have gone quiet themselves for the last few moments. With 4:36 left to play in this opening quarter. Ashley Lane with a left-hand dribble, comes to the near wing for Kessler. Kessler in the lane for Barnes, gets it back up top for Kessler. Kessler drives across the lane, kicks it out into the hands of Engel. Engel up top for Lane, an open three is up and through. Ashley Lane. First basket of the game for her. Makes it 10-3 in favor of the Bruins, who have made a couple of those threes to get themselves an early lead. Cutting across the lane inside to Springer, lays it up, but off the side of the glass, but a foul. It's going to go against the Bruins and Charlotta Hackett, the redshirt sophomore, not able to cut Springer off, cutting to the lane. Commits the foul, and Springer at the line. First trip for her with 4:09 to play in this quarter. And she'll have 2 at the line. Will the 5'10" junior. First one off the front. Keeps the lead at 7 for the Bruins as Amaya Scott returns, and Ashley Lane, after hitting that 3 a moment ago, will return. Or Lane, rather, will sit, and Scott back into the game. Second one on the way for Springer. Got it. So first point of the game for Colin Springer makes it 10-4 in favor of the Bruins. 4:05 to play in this opening quarter. First of 2 games on the weekend for Bruins basketball. The men will be back at it tomorrow with their first game of 2018. Right up to the top is Amaya Scott. Plays catch with Charlotta Hackett and then throws it away. Does Hackett. Hackett trying to go with that cross-court pass. A little bit of miscommunication between her and Scott, though. Giving the ball back over to the Falcons. Lutz to the top for Slatterer. Slatterer with a left-handed running hook. It's no good. Good position for the rebound for the Bruins, who come down with it. And now they'll come back the other way with Amaya Scott up the far side of the floor. Scott stops at the top, fires a contested 3, hits off the front of the rim. Loose ball taken away by the Falcons, who want to run back the other way now. His foot drives it all the way into the lane. Tried to find Lutz, but a little bit behind her. And the ball rolls out of bounds back over to the Bruins. Score stays at 10-4. 3:24 left to play in this opening quarter here in Winston-Salem. First varsity game of 2018 for the Bruins. Far side of the floor for Kessler, into the corner for Hackett. Hackett comes back to the top for Barnes. Now gets it back to Hackett, trying to go with the skip pass. Falcons all over that, though, anticipating, as Foot gets a hand on it and knocks it out of bounds. Bruins will keep it, but first a substitution as Ashley Lane, after a brief stint on the bench, will return, and Barnes will go to the bench. Lane directing traffic against this zone defense for the Falcons. Shot clock expiring, nobody paying attention to it. And Kessler will be assessed the turnover that time as the shot clock expires, with the score still at 10-4 in favor of the Bruins. Foot with the skip pass on the baseline. Nicely done for Lutz, who misses the short jumper from the baseline. Loose ball taken away by the Bruins and Ashley Lane. Lane trying to get her way into the paint, but a reach-in foul that's going to go against the Falcons. Gives it back to the Bruins again, who will inbound on the far side of the floor. Kessler will trigger. In for Scott. Scott with the skip pass, near side. Lane thought about the three. Instead drives it inside, kicks it out. An open three on the way for Kessler. Skims off the front of the rim. Battle for the loose ball. Saved in bounds by the Falcons, right into the hands of Foot. Now a 2-on-2 break if they hurry, but instead the Falcons elect to pull it out. Schladerer comes to the near side for Lutz. Lutz double teamed and gets rid of it for Schladerer. Skip pass into the corner. Far side, a long two on the way for Tankersley. Hits the back of the rim, no, and the rebound taken away nicely by Charlotta Hackett. Bruins want to run back the other way. Nice pass on the baseline. Layup is up and through for Kessler. Really nice job that time by Amaya Scott. Drew the defense toward her and found Kessler underneath the basket. Makes it 12-4, under 2 minutes to play in this quarter. And layup and an and-one opportunity for the Falcons back in transition the other way, as Lutz finding Colin Springer underneath the basket. First field goal of the game for Springer. And she'll get a chance to make it a three-point play as we get a substitution. Back into the game comes Arian Rumpf. And Cumberbatch will sit. So one at the line for Springer. Made one of two earlier. First one, got it. So 4 in the game for Springer. Cuts the Bruin lead to 5 at 12-7 with 1:50 left to play in this opening quarter. Kessler to the top for Lane. Skip it far side for Scott, cutting across inside. Nice layup up and in for Kessler. Good job moving without the ball by Zanaya Kessler, who's got back-to-back hoops for the Bruins. Makes it 14-7 as Lutz trying to answer with a three. Skims the back of the rim. Loose ball saved in bounds momentarily by the Falcons, and then off the foot of Schladerer and out of bounds on the baseline back to the Bruins. 1:24 left to play in the quarter. So Lane with the basketball, playing catch with Scott. Pass deflected at the top, stolen away by Lutz. 3-on-2, 4-on-2 back the other way for the Falcons. Get it inside for Schladerer, cut off nicely by Kessler, and then Kessler induces the travel that time. Nice job by the Bruins getting back defensively and clogging up the painted area to prevent what would have been an easy transition basket for the Falcons. So it'll be Bruins basketball again, still leading 14-7 as we hit the 1 minute mark of this first quarter. Skip pass, far side, open three on the way for Scott. Hits off the back of the rim, comes right back into the hands of Engel. Engel with a nice pass underneath for Arian Rumpf, and Rumpf gets tied up inside and will go to the line. Really nice job that time by Monifa Engel. Finding Rumpf under the basket. Now Rumpf will get a pair at the line and a chance to widen this lead for the Bruins. First one on the way, up and through. So first points for her, makes it 15-7. Second one on the way. Hits hard off the back of the rim, and the rebound cleared by Schladerer. Back the other way for the Falcons. Tankersley with a good up fake, tried to drive it inside and hand it off, but the pass deflected and stolen. And now a triple team as Amaya Scott, or Ashley Lane rather, able to dribble her way out of it. Now the Bruins have numbers, but first we're going to get a whistle and a timeout. That's going to go towards the Bruins. Coach Money with a little bit of a cat that swallowed the canary look on his face that time, as he knows he might have accidentally taken a basket away from his team after Ashley Lane was able to break that triple team at midcourt, what would have resulted in a odd man rush back the other way for the Bruins and potentially an easy basket. Just a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. 15-7 our score with 32 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. The Bruins in control of this one, have made life very difficult on the Falcons offensively, who have struggled to really get themselves untracked here. And we mentioned earlier, coming from the Sunshine State and having to travel through all that brutal winter weather outside, whether it's the snow, the ice, the Arctic-like temperatures out there, but managing to get here today to play this one. And they drove, didn't fly. Scott will throw it in. 5-second count was initiated. Ashley Lane comes back for the ball just in the nick of time. And now the Bruins, with an 8-second difference, shot clock to game clock, will get into their offense with Kessler. Now back to the top as they move it side to side. Driving it inside as Amaya Scott gets all the way to the rim, lays it up and in. Amaya Scott Second field goal for her. She's got 5, and the lead is 10 at 17-7. 12 seconds left in this opening quarter. Shot clock has been turned off. Schlatter picked up on the double team behind the screen. Pass deflected and stolen. Bruins with the basketball. 5 seconds left in the quarter. Driving it inside is Engel. Spins to the lane. Lay it up and in. Monifa Engel just as time expires. At the end of the first quarter, the Bruins dominating this first quarter as they have broken this game open. They lead by 12 at the end of the first 10 minutes of play. 19-7 is the score. We'll have the second quarter for you coming up after this here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
Yeah. Low. Yeah. 360 in the contract. Never that. I just take the contact. I bring it back. I'm running on the fast break. Behind the back. Yeah, this that penny with the shack.
The fees passing me the rock. You might not get it back. They never gave a hand. Now they wanna give me that. I don't know where you been. I got fear of God. Ain't no fear of man. These them air minios. Yeesh, need a pair of them.
LA, man, I feel like magic. LA, I can't stand the traffic. West side for the vacation. Yeah, Westbrook on the isolation.
Yeah. So New York City gotta keep it Mickey Mantle, the bubble jacket with the periwinkle camo, From Argentina, it's a military issue, And Lloyd said don't mix the pit bull with the shit, so don't.
The Books here from Winston-Salem with the Bruins on top 19-7 after the opening 10 minutes of play. And now the Bruins will have an opportunity to widen that lead in the home whites trimmed in the powder blue and the gray, moving from right to left here in Winston-Salem. I'm Dave Shook, set to bring you all of tonight's action and tomorrow's action as well with the men's team in action. Amaya Scott drives the lane, puts up the floater, couldn't go down. Try to get her own miss back and does. Clears a little space, lays it up, but it wouldn't go down. Loose ball taken away by the Falcons, who dodge a bullet there, already trailing by 12. Can't afford to fall much further behind as Schlatterer and Lutz catch side to side, skip it far side into the corner for Tankersley, hits off the back of the rim. Rebound taken away by Ashley Lane, body's tangled up underneath the basket. Bruins come back the other way. Amaya Scott tees up an open three and knocks it in again. Amaya Scott has 8 points in the ball game, and that's going to draw a timeout from the Falcons and Coach David Wadlington. It's a full timeout, so we will take it as well with 9:19 left to play in this opening quarter. And the Bruins on top 22-7. Back after this here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
Rage. 1, 2, rage. 1, 2.
Back to play after the timeout for Coach Wadlington and the Falcons, who trail this one to the Bruins 22-7, just underway in this second quarter. Inside pass onto the baseline, back up top, and open three on the way for Slatterer. Finally goes down for the Falcons, who had been 0 from the three-point line to this point so far today against that Bruins zone. Finally get one to go to cut the lead down to 12 and stop the bleeding for the moment, as the Bruins have been dominant thus far. Inside pass down low for Cumberbatch. Lay it up, no, but an offensive foul. It's going to go against Cumberbatch, who's not happy with the whistle. Felt like Springer may have embellished the contact a little bit that time. Though, to be fair, there is a big size difference down there between the two of them. Cumberbatch will go to the bench. And back into the game will come Monifa Engel, who had that basket right before the end of the first quarter. Bruins on top by 12 at 22-10. Skip pass to the near side for Schlatter underneath. Nice pass for Springer. Springer attacks the rim, draws contact, and will get herself to the free throw line. A good job that time by the Falcons the last couple of trips, actually, of moving without the basketball and starting to shift this Bruins zone a little bit to create some openings on the backside. And for the third time today, it'll be Colin Springer at the free throw line. 2 for 3 today, has 4 points in the game. Chance to cut this lead down to 10 potentially. First free throw is good. Takes over the team high scoring, has 5 in the game. Amaya Scott leads everybody for the Bruins. She has 8. Second free throw bounces out. Offensive rebound by Slatterer, but throws it right into the hands of the Bruins and Arian Rumpf. Bruins trying to run back the other way. Amaya Scott thought about going 1-on-3. Instead finds backdoor inside. Monifa Engel is there, running the floor. Gets her 3rd basket of the game. She's got 6, and the lead is 13 at 24-11. Trying to force the issue inside as Slatterer got a shot block, but got knocked to the deck in the process. As trying to force the issue are the Falcons a little bit inside. Trying to get things going more towards the rim instead of the three-point shot, which has not been a weapon for them thus far in this one. And to the free throw line will go Slatterer for the second time today. Made 1 of 2 her last trip. Knocks down the first here with that high arching free throw. Substitution for the first time for the Falcons, who brought just 6 players with them today. As out of the game goes Springer, and in comes Bailey Milligan. Bruins will also make a sub as Sophie Barnes returns, and Amaya Scott will sit. Second free throw on the way. That one off the back of the rim, and the rebound cleared away by Arian Rumpf. So Ashley Lane handles out front against this 2-3 zone for the Falcons. Into the corner for Rumpf. Skip pass near side for Barnes. And out of the top for Lane. Tries to split the double team at the top of that 2-3 zone and lost the basketball. Stolen away by the Falcons, who have 3-on-1 back the other way. Tankersley inside, misses the layup. Rebound battled for, last touch out of bounds. They're going to say off of Rumpf. But a nice job by Rumpf that time to keep that offensive rebound away from the Falcons and give the Bruins a chance to regroup defensively. Coming off the floor very slowly is Anaya Kessler, though. Didn't see what happened to her on the other end, but nevertheless, a substitution will get Alicia Cumberbatch into the game. Alicia Cumberbatch, I should say. Inbounds pass right in for Milligan. To the near side for Lutz, into the corner. Tees up an open 3, does Foot. Hits off the back of the rim. The long rebound right into the hands of Ashley Lane, who's going to go 1-on-1 with Lutz. Steps around her, lays it up and in. Nice job that time by Ashley Lane. As Lutz stepped in, tried to take the charge. Lane was able to get her body around her just enough and able to push it off the window and in. Make it 26-12 with 7:26 to play in the quarter as Barnes reaches over the top of Bailey Foot and is going to be whistled for the foul. 14th foul already in the quarter for the Falcons. Or against the Bruins, rather. One more to the bonus the rest of the half. Inbounds pass comes right in for Slatterer, and there is that 5th foul. It's going to be Alicia Cumberbatch who's whistled for it. And to the free throw line will go Slatterer. 2 for 4 on the day for Slatterer at the line. Has 5 points in the game overall. First free throw on the way. That one's up and good. So the Falcons will shoot free throws the rest of the quarter. A long way to go with 7:23 still left to play. Charlotta Hackett checks back in for the Bruins. Cumberbatch will sit already with her 4th foul in the ballgame as Slatterer makes both. 26-14 the score. 7:18 left to play in this first half with the Bruins on top by 12. Trying to keep things rolling as down the lane goes Rumpf. Finds underneath for Hackett. Hackett couldn't make the layup. Got the miss back, though, inside did Rumpf. Second shot opportunity is no good. Battle for the loose ball underneath. And a reach-in foul, I believe, that's going to go against the Bruins. Or are they just going to say a jump ball? That is the case. It's just a jump ball, and the alternating possession arrow gives the ball back to the Falcons. 7:05 to play in the first half. Slatterer for Lutz into the corner for Tankersley. Thought about the 3, instead gets it back to Lutz. Skips it to the top for Slatterer, into the corner for Foot, down low for Milligan. Back up top, open 3 on the way for Lutz. Halfway down, it bounces out. Lane with good position for the rebound and corrals it on the sideline. Lane up the floor with the left-hand dribble. Stop just across the timeline, and now we'll settle the Bruins into their offense. 26-14 our score. Lane drives it in with the right hand on the baseline. Nice pass inside and banks it in off the window, does Monifa Engel. 8th point of the game for Engel, 28-14. Trying to slide it underneath for Milligan was Lutz, but off the hands of Milligan and out of bounds. And we'll get a substitution as back into the game comes Springer, and Milligan will sit. Again, just 6 players for the Falcons in this one. So Milligan really out there just to give players a little bit of a breather. 28-14 in favor of the Bruins with 6:13 left to play in this first half. Lob over the top of the zone, kick out, open 3 on the way. That one off the front of the rim for Engel. Loose ball battled for and taken away by Foot and the Falcons, and then a foul is going to go against Sophie Barnes and the Bruins. And with the Bruins over the limit, that will send the Falcons to the free throw line, and surprise, surprise, it'll be Schlatter again. Or check that, this time it'll be Bailey Foot. 5'9" sophomore gets her first trip to the stripe, has 2 points in the game. First one on the way is up and good. Falcons racking up the free throw opportunities. Bruins have only been there once. Second free throw is no good. Rebounded by Charlotta Hackett. Double teamed on the baseline. Gets rid of it into the hands of Lane. Lane trying to speed it up the far sideline. Gets all the way to the rim. Lays it off the window. No. Loose ball battled for. Tapped right into the hands of Lane with the little floater on the baseline is good. Charlotta Hackett was the one who came up with that deflection. Tapped it right into the hands of Lane. And then Lane with that little push shot from the baseline makes it 30-15 in favor of the Bruins, who continue to double up the Falcons. Foot with the skip pass. Far side into the hands of Tankersley. Little floater runner from the baseline is good. First basket of the game for Tankersley, 30-17. Bruins still on top in this one. 5:27 left to play in the first half. Now we're going to get a whistle and a stoppage, as it looks like the shot clock did not start initially, as it shows just 29 right now. Got to imagine they'll run a couple of seconds off of that. Down to 27 now. That's about right. Still Bruins basketball with this 13-point lead, as they've been in control largely from the beginning of this one. Coach Money up directing traffic, trying to get his team into a set, as Barnes backdoor inside, trying to go inside for Rump. Pass was deflected and stolen though. Back the other way, a 3-on-1. Easy little layup up and in on the find from Lutz into the hands of Schlatter. Just the second field goal for Schlatter, but she's got 9 in the game now to take over the game high. So 30-19 in favor of the Bruins. 4:49 left to play in this first half. Engel to the top for Hackett. Now to the far side for Lane. Lane just going to fire the 3, as the defense gave her a little bit of a glimmer of opportunity to shoot that. Missed it though off the back of the rim, and now a run out back the other way for the Falcons, as Tankersley lets her defender run by and lays it up and in. Second field goal of the game for Tankersley, who's got 4, and all of a sudden for the first time in a while it's a single-digit game, with the Bruins on top by 9 at 30-21. Ashley Lane stops at the free throw line. Up top, along 2 on the way for Engel. Hits off the side of the rim. Loose ball battled for and taken away by the Falcons, who want to run again. This time Ashley Lane, though, cuts off the outlet pass. Lane drives into the paint, pulls up from 12, and knocks it in. Lane now with 9 in the ball game, and that'll be a timeout for Coach Money, a full timeout, so we'll take it as well. 32-21 is the score. 3:59 left to play in this opening half. Bruins in control here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
Rage. 1, 2, rage. 1, 2.
And welcome back to Winston-Salem. Dave Shook with you here. 32-21 in favor of the Bruins, with 3:59 left to play in this opening half as they lead the Falcons from Florida College here tonight. First game of the 2018 calendar year for this Bruins team, as the Falcons with the basketball in those road black uniforms trimmed in the red and white. Driving it inside is Schlatterer. Floater no. Rebound taken away by the Bruins. And Charlotta Hackett. Nicely done that time by Hackett to come up with that loose ball. Bruins have been in control of this one largely from the beginning. After the Falcons scored the first basket of the night, the Bruins scored the next 7 and have not looked back since. As Ashley Lane, been a big part of that, drives inside, tried to bank it off the window, a little bit too strong with it, and then a reach-in foul in the rebounding action that looks like it's going to go against the Falcons and Bailey Foote. So the Bruins will throw it in. That's just the first team foul against the Falcons in the second quarter. 3:26 left to play. Cutting down inside from the top of the key is Monifa Engel, who lays it up and in, and she's the first player for either team into double figures, as she's got 10 to lead the Bruins, and the lead is 13 for Piedmont, 34-21. Schlatterer to the near side. Bounce it down low inside for Springer. A little turnaround shot in the post is no good, and the rebound taken away by Engel. Engel has been everywhere in this ball game thus far for the Bruins. Now as we tick under 3 minutes to play, Lane with a little crossover, kicks it up top for Barnes. Barnes puts it on the deck, got the ball knocked away, but a reach-in foul first. That's going to go against Tankersley, as the Falcons trying to pick on Barnes a little bit whenever she has the basketball. That time, though, Tankersley a little bit over-anxious with the attempt to swipe it away. We'll get a substitution as Hackett will exit, and Amaya Scott, who got a nice rest on the bench, returns for the final 3 minutes of this first half. Shot clock is reset down to 25 now, with 2:45 in the clock running in this first half. Rumpf to the top for Engel. On the baseline again for Rumpf. Turns her way into the lane, got her shot deflected, and the loose ball taken away inside by Schlatterer. Schlatterer with a good lead pass into the corner, far side for Foote. Hits off the back of the rim on the 3. Rebound battled for, knocked around on the floor. Finally pulled out of there by Scott. Scott facing a 1-on-4 situation, turns it back out wisely, hands it off to Lane. And the Bruins will run a little bit of clock with 2:12 left to play in the half. Around the screen is Lane, pulls up at the free throw line. Lefty jumper, no good. It bounces out. And the loose ball taken away by Springer. Falcons back the other way with it. Lutz, who's been very, very quiet, lobs it up over the top on the baseline. Comes back to the top in the hands of Foote. Foote with a nice little shovel pass underneath for Schlatterer, who couldn't handle it, though, and drops it out of bounds. Fortunate break for the Bruins, so the lead will stay at 13, 34-21, with 1:55 left to play in this first half. Coach Money directing traffic for the Bruins. Trying to set up a play on this possession as Scott, with 15 on the shot clock on the far wing, gets it down low inside. Isolated one-on-one. Arian Rumpf just much too big down low. Lays it up and in. 36-21 now in favor of the Bruins. And then a bad pass stolen away. Schlatterer with the poor pass stolen by Lane. 2-on-2. Lane finds Scott. Open jumper from 18 is no good. An air ball, but it comes right to Barnes. Barnes trying to hand it off for Lane. Pass deflected out of bounds. And it'll stay with the Bruins. Barnes playing for the first time with this Bruins team. Looks like she's having a good time out there. Lob pass over the top. Really nicely done. Layup, no. Missed it inside. Rebound battled for is Barnes. Barnes comes up with the loose ball and then is fouled in the process. And so the Bruins will keep it. Barnes making an impact on the game off the bench in the last few minutes, has now twice come up with offensive rebounds off of missed shots. Milligan back in for the Falcons, replacing Tankersley. Bruins with the basketball, cutting across the lane is Scott. Pass was deflected a little bit too high for her. And a turnover back over into the hands of the Falcons. Long lead ahead pass into the hands of Springer. Springer with a right hand layup, counted and a foul. Nice job that time, lobbing it over the top by Schlatterer. Getting it into the hands of Springer. And Springer with the basket and a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play. 36-23 with 1:03 left to play in this first half. Bruins would love to be able to maintain this double-digit lead going into the break. They led by 10 at the end of the first, have led by as many as 15 in the second quarter. Free throw on the way is up and through for Springer. Springer has 8 in the ball game for the Falcons as we hit the 1 minute mark now of this first half. Lane slowly comes across the timeline, 20 on the shot clock, now gets into the offense, into the corner for Scott. Around the screen from Lane, cuts it backdoor inside. Nice pass inside, lay it up, no, but a foul. Monifa Angle that time cutting from that far baseline, comes to the near side, and a really nice pass inside by Amaya Scott. Not able to finish with the contact was Angle, but she'll get a chance to put some points on the board with the free throws coming. First one bounces out. Angle leads the way for the Bruins, has 10 points in the game. The only player in double figure for either side. Misses both free throws, though. The second one bounces right back into the hands of Foote. So missed opportunity to put some more points on the board. Is back the other way is Schladerer. Schladerer back to the top. Pass deflected, though, out of bounds. Nice job that time by Angle. $18 on the shot clock, 33 on the game clock. To the top for Schladerer, trying to drive it inside on Lane. Gets all the way to the rim. Left-hand layup comes off the front. And the loose ball taken away by the Bruins, who can now hold for the final shot of the first half with the shot clock off, 20 on the game clock. Coach Money again barking out instructions to his group. Down to 13 to shoot. Lane at the top finds Scott at the free throw line, and then Scott whistled for the travel as she turned and pivoted and then tried to take an extra step without the dribble. So 5.7 on the game clock is very quickly. Tankersley is going to return. Milligan will exit, so a little bit more shooting on the floor for the Falcons. Foote will trigger the inbound on the far sideline as Barnes out to contest the inbounds pass against Schladerer. Need to be careful, though, with the Bruins over the bonus, or over the limit here, and the Falcons in the bonus. Throws it in the backcourt for Tankersley. 4 seconds left. Leads it ahead for Foote. Down low inside. Shot up by Schladerer is no good. Tap attempt is no good. And the first half will come to an end. 36-24 is the score after 2 quarters of play. The Bruins in control of this one. They outscored the Falcons by 10 in the first half, outscored them by 2 in the second quarter. And we will take the timeout, and we will come back with our halftime show as we'll give you some of the first half numbers, also take a look at some second half keys. That's coming up after this here as you listen to Bruins basketball on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
I just threw it backboard. Game winner, I'm the one they asked for. Magic, bird, magic, bird, magic, bird, magic, bird, magic, bird, magic, bird, magic, bird.
Yeah, 4th grade teacher said he need medication.
4 shows, 5 days, I need meditation.
6 deep, Peter Luger made the reservation.
Pass the check right in, no hesitation.
Spotify that showed the kid love.
And welcome back to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, as we bring you Bruins basketball here tonight from the campus of Piedmont International University. Dave Shook with you here at courtside. Mason Cox is running the board and running the stream for you online right now. And the Bruins at the break lead this one 36-24 as we have an impromptu toddler basketball game out on the floor right now that is, well, one side is winning 2-0, I think, last I checked. Anyway. Welcome back here as we take a look at some of the numbers from the first half. We'll also take a look at a game recap, and then we'll talk about some second half keys that will help the Bruins pick up their third win of the season and avoid the Falcons picking up their ninth at their expense here tonight. As we start first with a look at some of the numbers for the Bruins, who have really spread the scoring out over the first half of action right now. The leading scorer is Monifa Engel, who has 10 points in that first half. The leading scorer overall in the ball game as well, and the only player in double figures for either side. The other two big scorers in the ball game thus far for the Bruins have been Ashley Lane, who has 9 points despite sitting for a good chunk of that second quarter, and then also Amaya Scott, who had 8 points in that first half to lead the way for the Bruins. A couple of other players in the scorebook as well, including Zanaya Kessler, who has 4. Arian Rump finished with 3 points in that first half, and then Alicia Cumberbatch with a single basket to round out the scoring for the Bruins, who again lead this one 36-24. On the other side for the Falcons, a little bit more isolation in their scoring as just 2 players really doing the damage right now. Sajay Slatterer has 9 points to lead the way for this Falcons team, and then Colin Springer finishing with 8, including 4 of 6 at the free throw line in that first half for the Falcons. A couple of other players in the scorebook as well, including Ariana Tankersley, who has 4, and then Bailey Foote, 3 points in that first half to lead the way for the Falcons. Again, just 24 points on the board through the opening 20 minutes of action here in Winston-Salem. Want to remind everybody, too, to make sure to tune in tomorrow night as the Bruins men's basketball team will look to get their 6th win of the season as Tamir Glenn, Antoine Robinson, Nash Carter, Troy Mix and company will look to knock off the Wildcats from Johnson and Wales University from down in Charlotte, North Carolina, who have lost their last 8 games. But among their 2 wins this season, one of them was in the opener against this very same Piedmont Bruins team. So the Bruins will be looking for a little bit of payback against the Wildcats from Johnson & Wales. That game will come your way tomorrow evening. We'll get you times and all that good stuff coming up here in just a little bit. But our score here tonight, 36-24 in favor of the Bruins, who are looking for their 3rd win of the season as they lead it over the Falcons from Florida College 36-24. We'll take a quick timeout, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the game, recap how we got to this point. We'll have that for you after this as you listen to Bruins basketball from Carolina Sports Live.
Yeah. Low. Yeah. 360 in the contract. Never that. I just take the contact. I bring it back. I'm running on the fast break. Behind the back. Yeah, this that penny with the shack.
If he's passing me the rock, it might not get it back. They never gave a hand, now they wanna give me that. I don't know where you been. I got fear of God, ain't no fear of man. These them air minios, yeesh, need a pair of them.
LA, man, I feel like magic. LA, I can't stand the traffic. West side for the vacation. Yeah, Westbrook on the isolation.
Yeah. So New York City gotta keep it Mickey Mantle, the bubble jacket with the periwinkle camo, From Argentina, it's a military issue, And Lloyd said don't mix the pitbull with the shit, so don't do it.
I just threw it off the backboard. Game winner, I'm the one they asked for. Magic. 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 Magic.
Yeah, 4th grade teacher said he need medication.
4 shows, 5 days, I need meditation.
6 deep, Peter Luger made the reservation.
Pass the check right here, no hesitation.
Spotify to show the kid love. I'm like, what a week. Everybody trying to get my plug number for the years. I told my love, baby, we should leave. Then we go and get the pho, that's that Vietnamese. Yeah, so shout out all the single mothers, 2 jobs, 3 kids. I call that a triple-double, call plays in the huddle. God, I'm in trouble. Shorties want me sub 'em in, and they sure ain't being subtle.
Well, now the hometown kids
And welcome back once again here to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, as we bring you tonight's matchup between the Bruins and the Falcons from Florida College. From all the way down in Temple Terrace, Florida, under head coach David Wadlington, who again drove here today, not today, but yesterday, to get here despite all of the Arctic weather that has blown its way through pretty much the majority of the country, including down here in the southeast. A lot of snow, a lot of ice, a lot of very, very cold temperatures. But fortunately, the Falcons were able to make it here safely for tonight's game. Unfortunately for them, but fortunately for Piedmont, it's been a first half that has largely been controlled by the Bruins as they lead this one 36-24 at the break. Again, we mentioned before, Monifa Engel finishing with 10 points in that first half to lead all scorers. This was a game that got underway quickly with the Falcons getting on the board first to lead it 2-0, but really ever since then, it has been all Bruins in this one as they would score the next 7 points to open up their lead. They have never trailed since that initial 2-0 deficit. They would hold mostly a 4 to 7 point lead throughout most of the first quarter, but then towards the end of the second quarter, began to make some shots from the perimeter, which opened things up underneath, and Monifa Engel had a basket right before the end of that first quarter to make it a 10-point lead at the end of the first, 22-12. After that, the Bruins would go on a 9-0 run to open things up. They led by as many as 19 in that second quarter. And then the Falcons were able to get things a little bit more under control towards the end of the quarter, found some success attacking the rim, and were able to chop some points off of that lead and cut the lead down to as few as 9 at one point in that second quarter before settling where it's at right now at 12, 36-24, with the Bruins again on top and largely in control throughout that first half. 3 players have really done the damage in this first half for the Bruins, including Engel, who we mentioned with 10, but 2 other players as well. Their dynamic duo in the backcourt of Ashley Lane and Amaya Scott, who have 9 and 8 points respectively through the first 2 quarters of action to lead the way for this Bruins team, whereas the Falcons not getting a whole lot of support outside of their 2 leading scorers, and Sajay Slatterer as well as Colin Springer, who have 9 and 8 points respectively, but not getting much other help in that first half were the Falcons. So that's kind of how we stand right now with the score at 36-24. We'll take one more timeout. When we come back, we'll take a look at our keys to the second half, and then we will have the opening tip for you. That's coming up after this here as you listen to Bruins basketball from Carolina Sports Live.
This program is unique in that it addresses 3 key leadership areas: organizational management, educational administration, and ministry administration.
I would say the payoff is in ways that I never imagined. I never thought I would have such a supportive network. I never thought I would meet such great people who were at different points in their life. I mean, you can be sitting next to someone who's the CEO, and you sit next to people who are doctors. You also sit next to people who are stay-at-home moms who have decided to go back to school. It has enriched me in ways I just never thought the PhD program would.
I have a nuclear engineering technology bachelor's degree. I got an MBA from a secular school, and I knew that there was a whole Christian aspect of leadership. You read the books about Nehemiah, David, Christ himself. And so I wanted to build that into my learning and knowledge, so I started looking for a Christian college.
Piedmont comes across my computer, and they're on the top of all these lists, best this, top that, top 25, and I said, okay, this school seems to have a reputation for academic excellence.
The professors, the relationships we're building, and the leadership program is second to none. I'm able to use every single class I've taken in my business, and my business has grown. Not only my business, but I'm able to do community development and train other leaders, young leaders, middle-aged leaders, older leaders, and then I'm able to pass on leadership abilities and skills, to other people.
This program has a number of key strengths. Depending on which concentration, whether it's education or business or ministry, because it's a terminal degree, a PhD, it opens doors of opportunity. God can use this program in so many different ways. In pastoral ministry, it can open doors to greater opportunities to share Christ in different contexts. In organizational management, it opens doors to new leadership positions. For many of our students, that's been their story. And in educational administration, it has done the same as well.
Since I've been in the program, the flexibility of the schedule, because I had to relocate from one end of the country to the other. I had to go to China for 2 adoptions. Last year my daughter had open heart surgery, so we've been able to work around that.
PIU students, they walk the talk. The professors, they walk the talk. So they lead by example, and therefore their students just emulate and lead by example in the communities they come from. It's just that simple.
To know that not only are my professors top-notch, not only do they know, everything in their field, they're leaders in their field, they're knowledgeable, they're guiding you, they're praying for you. And to know that makes all the difference in the world.
It's cost effective. It got the goal of having the Christian aspect brought into leadership and how that fits all together, and then the staff support.
But if you make the decision and you decide to come, it's the best decision you'll ever make, and you will not be the same afterwards.
I knew I had made the right decision.
On the campus of Piedmont International University, the site of tonight's women's basketball matchup between the Bruins from Piedmont International and the Falcons from Florida College. I'm Dave Shook here with you at courtside with the Bruins on top 36-24 as we get set to start the second half of action here in this one. The Bruins will have the basketball to start things out as they will switch ends of the floor here in the second half, with the Bruins moving from left to right across your radio dial, computer screen, smartphone, tablet, however you're accessing us today on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. Skip pass to the far side for the Bruins for Rumpf into the corner for Amaya Scott. Misses the three-pointer, and the loose ball taken away by the Falcons, who want to run back the other way, and then Lutz gets it poked away from behind, and the Bruins come back with the turnover. So good job defensively tracking back by the Bruins that time. As Amaya Scott in the corner finds an open Engel who knocks down the three. Monifa Engel, first 3 ball of the game for her, continues her stellar play today. She has 13 to lead all scorers, and the Bruins lead this one by 15 now at 39-24. Lutz trying to get it down low inside for Milligan starting the second half. Little turnaround jumper is no good. Good position for the rebound by Lane. Trying to dribble her way out of traffic. A triple team coming, and then she's bumped on the sideline. And it'll be a foul against the Falcons. And so the Bruins will maintain possession now with what is matching their largest lead of the ball game at 15, 39-24. 9:04 to play in this third quarter. Sophie Barnes also starting this second half for the Bruins. Ashley Lane hands it off on the weave out front with Scott. Scott, though, whistled for the travel as she caught that little handoff and then took an extra step before putting it on the ground. Barnes will sit, and back into the game will come Zanaya Kessler for the Bruins. Ariana Tankersley, the only player on the bench right now for the Falcons, who only brought 6 tonight. Milligan, who started the game on the bench, starting the second half for this Falcons team, gets her second catch inside. Good little sweeping hook shot across the lane for Milligan. Gets her first basket of the game. And makes it 39-26 in favor of the Bruins. Ashley Lane across the timeline. Little step over dribble, and the little right-handed floater is up and through for Ashley Lane. She joins Monifa Engel in double figures, has 11. And the lead is 15 at 41-26 with 8:13 left to play in this third quarter. On the baseline, nice catch by Lutz, and Lutz lays it in, her first basket of the game. One of their more talented players really held quiet in that first half. 8 minutes to play in this third quarter. Bruins on top by 13 at 41-28. Scott on the far wing uses the screen from Rumpf, pulls up at the free throw line. Jumper on the way is good. Amaya Scott, the third Bruins player into double figures. She has 10. And the lead again is 15, 43-28. Nice shovel pass on the baseline, finds Milligan underneath. Milligan misses the little short jumper. And then a foul inside that's going to go against the Bruins. The foul is going to be on Lane, as Bailey Foote trying to direct some traffic, but it'll be Milligan at the free throw line after the late whistle that time. Puts Milligan at the line for a pair. First one on the way. Bounces out. So the lead stays at 15 for the Bruins with 7:39 left to play in this third quarter. Second one on the way for Milligan. That one up and through. So Milligan, taking advantage of the starters' minutes in this second half, has 3 early points in this third quarter. The lead stays at 14, though, for the Bruins, 43-29. Out front with it is Lane. Hands it off for Scott. Scott with a skip pass, trying to go far side. Stepping in front of the pass and taking it away is Lutz, though. Lutz pushes it up the floor, speeds it all the way into the lane. Nice drop-off pass underneath, but right at the feet of Springer, and Springer not able to handle it as it rolls out of bounds. Substitution again as Scott will exit and Barnes will return for the Bruins. Lane will bring the ball up the floor for Piedmont. 3-2 zone this possession for the Falcons defensively. Lane with the skip pass, far side, inside, nice job for Rumpf. Rumpf with the push shot, no, but a blocking foul. Really nice lob that time for Angle on the little touch pass inside for Rumpf. And Rumpf will get herself to the free throw line, where she is 1 for 2 today. In fact, she's the only Bruins player to take a free throw in this game. The Falcons have been to the line repeatedly thus far. First free throw on the way is up and good. So 4 in the game for Rumpf now. 15-point lead again, and a chance to make it the largest of the game with this one. Second one, too strong. Rebound tapped around. Milligan had it, and then Milligan just dropped it between her legs out of bounds. So an unforced error by the Falcons gives the ball back to the Bruins with 6:57 left to play in this third quarter. Inbounds pass will come from Lane. Lane behind the screen in the corner. Kessler, a 3, is off the front of the rim. Loose ball battled for, and Milligan's got it. Bounces it ahead now for Lutz. 2-on-1. Lutz will take it herself all the way to the rim. Right-hand layup. Left it a little bit too strong, and then a jump ball on the rebound as Lane had it initially. The possession arrow said it went to the Bruins. And Coach Money making his case that that should be Bruins basketball, but the officials signaled for the Falcons. And now the officials at the scorer's table will try and sort it out. I do believe the officials have it correct, as there was not a jump ball stoppage, and the Bruins did have the first possession of the second half. So I believe they have this correct and that it should be Falcons ball, but I could be mistaken. And now they're going to go back and take a look at the box score, essentially, to see where things are at. So they're going to send both teams to the benches while they try and sort this out. With 6:44 left to play in this third quarter, and the Bruins continue to lead the Falcons 44-29, matching their largest lead of the game at 15 a couple of times in this third quarter. And if you start to look at some second half keys to the game, I think one thing you really want to see the Bruins continue to do is rebound the basketball, where they have absolutely dominated this game on the glass to this point. And when you're a team that's struggling to shoot the ball the way the Falcons have tonight, when you're only getting one shot opportunity, you're not getting a chance to kind of work your way out of it. And that's to the Bruins' credit, where they have really limited second chance opportunities for the Falcons. And so everything has been won and done on the offensive end. On the other hand, the Bruins have really done a nice job of creating second chances for themselves on the offensive end, and that's resulted in some points as well. And we'll see if they can continue that, as the decision has been made, and it will be Falcons basketball. As Foote lobs it in for Milligan, and the pass immediately stolen away. Nice job by Kessler, steps in front of that, hands it off for Lane. Lane drives the lane, lays it up and in. Ashley Lane. So Lane now has 13 in the ball game. And then a steal on the other end nearly, as lost the handle on the ball did Lutz, and it's taken away by Rumpf. And now nearly another one as things get really sloppy all of a sudden. Ashley Lane had to go down to one knee to protect the basketball. 6:15 left to play, and the Bruins have their largest lead at 17, 46-29. Lane into the corner for Kessler. A 3 ball, bounces halfway down and out. And the rebound taken away by the Falcons, who dodged a bullet right there as Kessler had a good look at that one. Lutz to the top, open three for Schlatterer. That one off the front of the rim. Loose ball taken away by Lane, who has just been absolutely everywhere in this ball game. And now Lane will slow things down as she brings it across the timeline as Coach Money puts up the stop sign, tries to direct some traffic for the Bruins, who just about halfway through this third quarter have widened their lead to 17. Barnes across the top of the key finds Kessler. Kessler drives in, puts up the 18-footer, catches nothing but air, and the loose ball taken away by the Falcons. And then a push from behind that's going to go against Arian Rumpf. And a foul against the Bruins. Amaya Scott will return for the Bruins. Barnes will sit. And for the Falcons, Ariana Tankersley returns, and Springer will sit. Foot to the top for Schlatter, inside Milligan. Milligan got it ripped away underneath initially by Engel. Loose ball scrambled for on the floor. Lutz comes out of there with it, fires it inside for Schlatter, trying to clear some space. Kicks it for Foot in the corner, drives across the baseline, puts up the shot, no off the window. Loose ball taken away underneath finally by the Bruins, and now a long outlet pass, 2-on, none back the other way. Maya Scott shovels it inside nicely for Kessler, and Kessler lays it in. Lead now at 20, 48-28. Back the other way for the Falcons, driving it inside as Schlatterer puts up the floater, too strong off the window. Rebound tapped around, comes down into the hands of Foot, who lays it up and in, and that'll draw a timeout for the Falcons. With the score at 48-31, Coach Wadlington will call a 30-second timeout. So we'll keep it here with the score at 48-30 on the scoreboard, but I've got 48-31 in my scorebook here. Try and sort that out for you as well. But for the moment, the Bruins have one of their largest leads of the game at 18. They've led by as many as 20 now here in this third quarter with 4:37 left. And you got to believe the conversation for Coach Wadlington and the Falcons right now is about composure, as things have kind of gotten away from them here in this third quarter, and they've struggled to do some of the little things. And that's resulted in some turnovers and some easy baskets for the Bruins. Falcons now will show a little bit of full court pressure. Going to try and make things a little bit more difficult on the Bruins, getting it across the timeline as Scott gets knocked down as she tried to shovel it back towards Lane. So Scott will throw it in on the far sideline after the foul against the Falcons. And then on the entry pass, Scott just throws it away. And so the pressure early results in the turnover for the Falcons, who will get it back trailing by 18 at 48-30. So Falcons basketball trailing by 18 into the corner. An open three on the way for Schlatterer. That one off the front of the rim. Milligan in good position for the rebound, comes down with it, lays it off the front of the rim, and the loose ball taken away by the Bruins. Long lead-ahead pass was deflected, never went out of bounds though. Picked up by the Falcons on the sideline. Springer down low inside for Milligan, gets it back to Springer, tees up an open three and knocks it in. A much-needed three-point basket for the Falcons, as that now will draw another timeout. This time, I believe it is for the Bruins and Coach Money. No, actually, they're going to say it's for the Falcons again. And Coach Wadlington, I think, who wants again to set up some pressure, as they've chopped 5 points off this 20-point deficit in the last few minutes. And now if you're Coach Money in the huddle over there, this is going to be about settling your team down and preparing them for what they're going to see over the next few minutes, which is a whole lot of pressure. Especially after the first time when the Falcons were able to generate a turnover with it. So 48-34 is the score in favor of the Bruins, with 4:06 left to play in this third quarter. And instead, surprisingly, the Falcons actually back off the pressure and will allow the Bruins to bring it up into the forecourt. Ashley Lane will handle out front. Man-to-man defense this trip for the Falcons. Trying to lob it down low on the baseline. Pass deflected and stolen, though. Trying to get it for Kessler. Then the pass stolen back away by Lane. And the Bruins will get another opportunity at it. Bruins look a little bit disheveled in the last couple of possessions as Scott drives it onto the baseline. Up top with 15 on the shot clock. Lane fires the three. That's no good. Loose ball battled for. Pulled out of there by Rumpf. Trying to sweep her way across the lane. Gets it up top. Kessler, an open three. Tried to bank it and does. Zanaya Kessler, the bank open late in Winston-Salem, widens the lead back to 18 at 51-33. 3:15 to play here in this third quarter. On the baseline, jumper on the way, well short by foot, and the loose ball taken away by the Bruins. And then a jump ball in there that's going to give the ball back to the Bruins, as Monifa Engel got tied up inside with Milligan. So it'll be Bruins basketball, leading this one by 17 at 51-34. Kessler in the corner for Rumpf as they move it side to side onto the baseline for Kessler, into the corner for Engel. Engel, nice skip pass to the far wing for Lane, into the corner, an open three on the way, hits back rim for Rumpf, comes down with her own miss, puts up the floater, no, but a foul. Nice job that time by Arian Rumpf. Drives it inside, draws contact, and will get herself to the line, and a chance to widen this lead again with the score at 51-33 on the scoreboard, 34 in my sheet. And I'm fairly confident it is 34. First free throw on the way is good for Arian Rumpf, and the balanced scoring continues for this Bruins team. 3 players in double figures, a fourth with 9. And one more coming for Rumpf. Second one is good. Rumpf now has 6 in the game, 4 of them at the line. As we get a whistle and a substitution, Monifa Engel will exit. And back into the game will come Charlotta Hackett for the first time in this half. 3-2 zone at the top for the Bruins. Schlatter to Foot in the far corner. Back up top for Schlatter. Left-handed dribble, pulls up at the free throw line, skips it back for Foot. Thought about the three, instead tries to spin her way in. Little turnaround shot is no good off the front of the rim. And the loose ball taken away by the Bruins and Rumpf. 2:15 left to play in this third quarter in a game the Bruins have controlled largely from start to finish. Lane steps up to that far wing, lobs it on the baseline far side for Hackett, missed the layup in tight, and then Hackett's going to be whistled for the foul as she bumped into Milligan. Third team foul against the Bruins in this third quarter, 4 against the Falcons. Substitution again is out of the game, goes Tankersley, and back in comes Lutz. Lutz on the near wing, skips it to the far side for Springer. Trying to drive it inside is Schlatter, puts up the floater with a left hand, no. Rebound battled for, and a jump ball over the top. As Monifa Engel, or check that, Arian Rumpf, using that size to grab the rebound, but able to hold on to it for a jump ball was Colin Springer. Inbounds pass will come from Foot. Up to the top, into the hands of Lutz, far side for Schlatter. Thought about the step back three, instead finds Lutz, who's going to tee up a long three. It's going to be well short. Rebound tapped into the hands of Hackett for a moment, then it's loose on the floor and finally picked up by the Bruins. Back the other way comes Lane. Lane wants to attack, instead is shut off, comes back to the top. And back into the corner is Lane, gets it back from Kessler, drives inside, puts up the floater and scores. Lane banks it in from the baseline. 15 points in the game for her. 55-33 is back the other way. Lutz gets tripped going to the rim on the baseline by Rumpf. And on the baseline, the inbounds pass will come from Foot. Quickly gets it in for Milligan, who got screened off. Nice job getting back into the play, though, as Hackett was able to get in there and block the shot. What looked like initially an open layup for Milligan, and now back the other way comes Lane. Lane and the Bruins leading this one now by 21 at 55-34. 1 minute even left to play in this third quarter. 13 on the shot clock. near side for Kessler. Kessler stops at the free throw line. Outside for Barnes, fires the three and banks it in, but is going to be whistled for a travel. So it takes away what would have been the first college basket for Barnes. And now back the other way will come the Falcons, trying to drive it inside. Off the window, no for Schladerer. Got her own miss back, kicks it outside, and open three on the way for Lutz is finally good. 5 points in the third quarter for Lutz. 55-37 in favor of the Bruins with 32 seconds left to play. Shot clock down to 20, about a 6-second difference game to shot clock. So now 15 on the shot clock and 21 on the game clock. Lob it in the corner. Open three on the way for Kessler. Off the back of the rim. Hits off the top of the glass. Comes right down to the hands of Rumpf, who couldn't get the shot to go. Shot clock is off for the Falcons with 11 seconds left to play. And then a silly foul as Coach Money puts his hands on his head, as that puts the Bruins over the limit and will send the Falcons to the free throw line with a chance to close the gap a little bit before the end of this quarter. It'll be Sajay Schladerer who will be at the line, who has been at the line a bunch in this game, has 9 through the first 2+ quarters. So it'll be 2 for her, with the Falcons in the bonus. First one rattles in. Substitution for the Bruins as Rumpf will exit, as will Hackett. Scott and Engel return. One more at the line for Schladerer. High arching free throw is good, makes both at the line. She now the first player into double figures for this Falcons team with 11. Cuts the lead down to 16 at 55-39. Lane will bring it up with 11 seconds on the game clock. Lane to the near side for Scott. Down to 6 seconds. Finds on the baseline. Kessler with a little turnaround is no good. Tracks down the miss with 1 second left. Throws it up wildly. It's an air ball. And that'll be the end of the third quarter of play. But a good one for the Bruins, who have led this game now by as many as 20. They lead it by 16 as we round the final turn and head for home. The fourth quarter coming up after this here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
1, 2, rage. 1, 2.
And welcome back again to courtside here in Winston-Salem with the score in favor of the Bruins, 55-39 through 3 quarters of play. The Bruins now 10 minutes away from their third win of the season with a 16-point lead as we head for this fourth and final quarter. The inbounds pass will come from Kessler. Throws it in the backcourt for Scott as the Bruins move from left to right across your radio dial computer screen, smartphone, tablet. However you're accessing us today on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live. As Lane and Scott play catch against this 2-3 zone for the Falcons. Scott will go with the crossover, not able to get anywhere. Down to 12 on the shot clock, trying to weave her way through traffic. Throws up a wild shot that's no good, and the loose ball taken away by Foot and the Falcons. Speeding it up into the forecourt goes Schladerer. Lay it up and in with the left hand and the foul. So a good start to this fourth quarter for Schladerer and the Falcons. Schladerer, one of 2 players in double figures for Florida College, and now has 13 and a chance to make it 14 with an old-fashioned 3-point play coming. Free throw on the way is up and good. Schladerer has been at the line a bunch in this one. Now has 14 in the game to lead the Falcons, and the lead is also at 13 for the Bruins at 55-42. 9:20 left to play in this fourth quarter. Amaya Scott Drives it inside around the screen, puts up the floater off to the right, and the loose ball tapped into the hands of Tankersley. Back the other way for the Falcons, into the corner for Lutz. Lutz is going to tee up an open three from that far corner and knock it in, and all of a sudden Lutz, who was scoreless in the first half, has 8 points in the second half, and what was a 20-point advantage has been cut in half, down to 10 at 55-45. And the Bruins, still a long way from winning this game, are going to need to continue to play well to put this one away, as Florida College tries to put together a run here in this fourth quarter. Nice pass on the baseline, too strong on the layup attempt by Kessler. Second chance opportunity is no good for Cumberbatch. And the loose ball taken away by the Falcons. Missed opportunity for the Bruins. Right up the middle of the floor goes Schladerer. Nobody stops the ball, and Schladerer lays it in. Schladerer's got 16, and the lead is single digits now at 55-47. Lead down to 8. Clock running with 8:17 to play in the ball game. Lob over the top for Kessler. Now back to Scott. Scott steps into what she thought was an open three. Got it blocked from behind, and loose ball taken away by Milligan. Back the other way for the Falcons. Schladerer right up the middle of the floor. Far side for Foot. Thought about the three, instead gets it back for Schladerer, trying to get it inside for Milligan. Instead finds Lutz across the lane. Steps back, thought about the three, now inside for Milligan. Turns toward the middle, little push shot. Too strong off the window. Offensive rebound, though, comes right back to the top. Schladerer wide open for three. Hits off the side of the rim, and the Bruins dodge a bullet as the rebound pulled out of there by Engel. Lead it ahead for Kessler, and then Kessler, as she gets across the timeline, gets the timeout for the Bruins. So things have gotten interesting all of a sudden as the Falcons have put together a run and cut what was a 20-point deficit in the third quarter down to 8. It's a full timeout, and we'll take it as well. 55-47 the score with 7:37 left to play here in this fourth quarter, right here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
Rage. 1, 2, rage. 1, 2.
Welcome back to action here in Winston-Salem, where the Bruins' 20-point lead has been cut to 8. 55-47 is our score with 7:30 left to play in the fourth quarter. Amaya Scott holding the ball in the far corner. Now back to the top for Lane. Lane with 10 on the shot clock comes to Scott onto the baseline for Engel. Engel down low inside for Kessler. Missed the layup inside. Rebound battled for. Rumpf comes up with it. She misses a little push shot. Loose ball on the floor. Tied up. It'll be a jump ball. And the possession error will give it back to the Falcons. So again, missed opportunities in close for the Bruins. Second possession in a row that's happened as the Bruins offense has gone cold. And now the Falcons playing with more confidence. Schladerer into the hands of Tankersley. Tankersley in the corner. Lutz looking for another three. That one's good. Sarah Lutz now has 3 threes in the second half, 2 of them in this fourth quarter. She's got 11 and the lead is 5. 55-50 is our score. 6:48 left to play in this fourth quarter. Bruins trying to hold on for their third win of the season. Have rallied from down 20. Have the Falcons to cut this lead down to 5. Inside, missed the shot in tight, did Rumpf. Second chance opportunity, that's no good. And a loose ball taken away by the Falcons. Shots in tight, not falling right now for the Bruins, who defensively need to get a stop. Into the corner for Schladerer. Drives inside, little left-handed push shot. That's up and through. Schladerer's got 18. And the lead is 1 possession at 55-52. Still a lot of basketball left to play in this one. Ashley Lane waiting for Rumpf to get back into the play. Finds Scott into the corner. Tees up an open three. Does Engel, that's no good. A weak side rebound, though, picked up by Hackett, who's going to be whistled for double dribble. And all of a sudden, what was a 20-point lead for the Bruins is one possession now at 55-52. And the Falcons with the basketball and a chance to get within one or even tie this game with a 3 as Barnes returns for the Falcons. Lutz drives along the baseline. Floater on the way. That's up and through. Again, Lutz was scoreless in the first half but has 13 points in the second half. And now it's a 1-point game at 55-54. Lane on the far wing, lobs it into the corner for Scott. Scott with the crossover, tried to shovel it up underneath, got tied up inside. It's a jump ball. Possession error this time will keep the ball with the Bruins with 5:31 left to play in the fourth quarter. Substitution for the Falcons as Springer will return and Milligan will exit. Springer has 11 points in the game for the Falcons, sat a long time, but returns now right at the free throw line. Cumberbatch drives it inside, little left-handed push shot, bounces out, and the loose ball taken away by the Falcons, who have numbers back the other way. Driving it inside is Tankersley. Layup is good, and the Falcons have the lead. Their first lead since it was 2-0. And that 20-point advantage for the Bruins has evaporated. 56-55 with 5:10 to play in the ballgame. We'll see if the Bruins have a response. Skip pass far side for Amaya Scott. Drives it inside. Got it poked away. Got it back. Floater is no good. Loose ball taken away by the Falcons. Up the floor goes Lutz. Lutz drives it in with the right hand on the baseline. Tries to swing it back to the top and does for Schlatterer. Schlatterer gets away from Barnes. Nearly walked with it, and there's the whistle. A little bit of a hesitation to blow that whistle, but the correct whistle is Schlatterer definitely traveled with a basketball, and all of a sudden there's some nervous energy in this gym. What was more of a festive atmosphere for 3 quarters, all of a sudden it's gotten awfully serious in here with 4:45 to play in the game and the Bruins trailing by 1 at 56-55. Lane with the basketball moves it far side into the corner for Rumpf. Back to the top for Lane, to the near side for Barnes. Barnes, bad pass was deflected and nearly stolen away, but a fortunate foul that's going to go against the Falcons. And Sarah Lutz, who tried to step in front of that pass intended for Lane. Kessler will throw it in for the Bruins. Lob it over the top for Lane. Lane will hold it right at that midcourt logo. Fresh shot clock for the Bruins as she tries to direct some traffic. And the Bruins trying to shorten this game a little bit with 4:18 left to play. Lane having trouble with the dribble, now looking for somewhere to go. Throws it into traffic and throws it away. And then a reach-in foul is going to go against Barnes, second on the team in the quarter. We're going to get a substitution as Amaya Scott will return, and out of the game will go Barnes. So Scott gets a little bit of a rest. But the Bruins offense has yet to put a point on the board in this fourth quarter. And if you're just joining us, a 20-point lead the Bruins had in the third quarter has been erased as they trail by 1, but a second straight turnover for the Falcons will give it back to the Bruins, as now the Falcons trying to leave the door open a crack for this Bruins team over the final 4:02. Bruins still very much in this ball game, but need to settle things down and put some points on the board as they trail this one 56-55, under 4 minutes to play in the game now. Lane with the basketball, steps up to the near wing, uses the screen from Cumberbatch, skips it far side into the corner, fire the open 3 for Rumpf, is up and through. Big 3-point basket for Arian Rumpf. Her second field goal of the game reclaims the lead for the Bruins at 58-56. Cutting it inside is Springer into the corner. Open 3 on the way is good for Tankersley. Her first 3 gives the lead back to the Falcons at 59-58. 3:23 now as we go back and forth here in the fourth. Cumberbatch with the basketball for the Bruins. Falcons extending their defense a little bit more now, trying to deny those passes to the top as the skip pass into the corner for Amaya Scott. An open 3 on the way, well short. Offensive rebound by Cumberbatch, couldn't go. Didn't hit the rim, so no reset of the shot clock, and then it's ripped away underneath. And the Falcons will slow things down to Sarah Lutz, trying to direct some traffic for this Falcons team. Bruins trying to set things up defensively as Amaya Scott gambles for a steal, comes up empty and is whistled for the foul. That is the third against the Bruins in the quarter, so still not into the bonus with 2:51 to play in the game. 59-58 our score, with the Falcons on top in this one. They had not led since it was 2-0 and had trailed by as many as 20. There's now a substitution as Cumberbatch will exit. Monifa Angle will return. And we'll see what the Bruins can do defensively on this trip. Schlatter trying to lob it inside, pass deflected and stolen by Scott. Scott trying to go 1-on-3, instead wisely pulls it back out. Hands it off for Lane, and now the Bruins will try to get a set. Trailing by just a point. 2:30 left to play in the game. Scott on the far wing, around the screen from Angle, drives the lane, layup in with a foul! Amaya Scott lays it up and in with the contact, gives the Bruins the lead, and a chance to make an old-fashioned three-point play out of it. First basket in a while for Scott. She's got 12 in the game now and a chance to make it 13 and make this a 2-point game. Free throw on the way. No good. Rebound battled for, tapped out by Rumpf, but right into the hands of Lutz. And now the Falcons will come back the other way, trailing by 1. 2:20 left to play in the ball game. Schlatterer in the corner for Foote. Shovels it back to the top for Schlatterer. Drives across the lane, stops at the free throw line, kicks it back to the top for Lutz again. Lutz has had a big second half. Into the corner. Foote looking for the lead for the Falcons is good. And the Falcons have really heated things up from the three-point line in this second half and have made some big ones down the stretch. Lutz has a couple in this fourth quarter. Foote has one. Tankersley has a huge one as well. And the Falcons retake the lead now by 2 at 62-60 with 2:06 left to play in this fourth quarter. Still a lot of basketball left to be played over these final 126 seconds. But the Bruins absolutely need to find a way to get out on these three-point shooters because the Falcons have really lit things up in this fourth quarter. And that's what's allowed them to chop into this lead and then get it all back. Again, if you're just joining us, the Bruins led this game at one point in the third quarter by 20 and have led by double figures pretty consistently since the end of the first quarter. But all of a sudden, late in that third quarter, you could kind of sense it was coming, where they cut what was a 20-point lead down to 15, and then very rapidly took away the rest of it. Part of a 16-0 run to retake the lead for the first time since it was 2-0. Since then, we've gone back and forth with the Falcons on top right now at 62-60. It'll be Bruins basketball out of the timeout. We'll see where they go over these final 2+ minutes. Zone defense again for the Falcons. A little bit of 2-3 as Ashley Lane will slowly bring it into the forecourt. Clock running under 2 minutes to play. Amaya Scott on the near wing uses the screen from Angle. Lobs it into the corner for Lane. Trying to get it down low for Rumpf. Couldn't get it there. Instead comes back to the top for Kessler. 13 on the shot clock. Bad pass stolen away. In the open floor goes Tankersley. Tankersley layup is good. And now the first double two-possession lead of the game for the Falcons. And all of a sudden you start to see a little bit of fatigue for the Bruins. Kessler comes back to the top for Lane. Gets it back for Kessler in the corner. Rumpf thought about another three, instead skips it to Scott. Scott drives the lane, puts it up off the window. No. Rebound tapped around. Second shot opportunity is up and in for Rumpf. Heck of a job by Rumpf sticking with it. Tapped it the first time, but came right back to her and tapped it up a second time and lays it in. And Rumpf now the fourth player in double figures for the Bruins, and a timeout for Coach Money and the Bruins, who have cut this Falcon lead down from 4-2 with still 1:16 left to play in the ball game. There's still a lot of time left for this Bruins team to get out of here with this win, but it's got to start on the defensive end where they've got to be able to get a stop. And those have been hard to come by in this fourth quarter, where it seems like the Falcons have scored on almost every trip down the floor, save for a couple of traveling violations. And they've been red hot from the three-point line in this fourth quarter. Out of the timeout, Falcons will have the basketball, moving from right to left, as the clock now begins to run with 1:15 left to play. Falcons can take it under a minute on this possession as Schlatterer Comes to the near side for Lutz. Skip pass, far side, open three on the way for Tankersley. That one is no good. Rebound battled for, taken away by Kessler, and the Bruins get the stop that they needed. Now 1 minute even left to play in the ball game. Can the Bruins answer and tie or take the lead here? Ashley Lane handles it out front against Lutz. Lobs it to Kessler. Kessler around the screen from Rumpf. Skip pass trying to get it to Scott. Pass was deflected. Scott able to track it down to the backcourt. Now the Bruins have numbers. Lob it over the top, intended for Engel, but a little bit too tall for Engel, and it's off her fingertips and out of bounds. And the Bruins miss an opportunity potentially to tie the game. Arian Rumpf was in that far corner begging for the basketball, but first a 30-second timeout for the Falcons with the score at 64-62, 43.5 on the game clock, and Coach Wadlington's going to talk possession. Certainly does not want a quick shot like they had on that last possession with Tankersley taking that three. Got to figure they want to take this down as far as they can before shooting it, because one basket there would potentially end the ball game. If the Bruins can get another stop, though, they will get, you figure, at least one more opportunity to either force overtime or win this basketball game. But it's got to start again on the defensive end. They got the stop on the last trip. We'll see if they can get one more. Out of the timeout, Foote will throw it in the backcourt for Schladerer. 3-2 zone for the Bruins. Foote with the basketball now, back to the top for Schladerer. Schladerer steps up to the top of the key, back for Foote. 20 on the shot clock, 30 on the game clock. Now for Lutz. Lutz dribbles around Lane, gets into the lane, little push shot, up and in. Tough shot by Sarah Lutz. Able to knock it down and hits the deck hard and is slow to get to her feet as well. Boy, Lutz has had a heck of a second half now with 15 in the ball game. All of them in the second half. Gives the Falcons a two-possession lead at 66-62 with 26.2 on the game clock. And Lutz trying to walk this off as she kind of awkwardly threw that little push shot up at the rim, hit the deck very, very hard, and she's going to have to come out of the game, and that's going to get Bailey Milligan back in for the Falcons, their lone bench player. Certainly hope she's okay, but still business at hand for the Bruins with 26.2 on the game clock, who now have to score on this possession to keep themselves in the ball game, and probably have to score quick. Still a lot of time left. As the inbounds pass comes in from Lane, who will let it roll up towards the midcourt stripe. Lane picks it up with the shot clock off, 25 left to play in the game. To Scott, far side for Hackett, drives it inside, got tied up inside, check that Kessler, and then the ball knocked out of bounds, last touch off the Falcons. 16.6 on the game clock. And now the Bruins really need to score quickly here to make this a one-possession game again. Lane will throw it in the corner for Scott. A wide open three on the way. That one's an air ball, though, tapped right into the hands of Schladerer, and the Falcons look like they are going to pull off what was a wild rally with 9.3 on the game clock as Schladerer is fouled from behind. The Bruins at one point led this game by 20 in the third quarter, but the Falcons have rallied with a 16-0 run to start the fourth quarter to retake the lead for the first time since it was 2-0. As fouling out of the game is Arian Rumpf. Had a nice night tonight, finishing with 11 points. .3 on the game clock. One more foul to the bonus for the Bruins to put the Falcons at the free throw line. Cumberbatch returns with her 4 fouls. Inbounds quickly in for Schladerer. Schladerer trying to dribble away from Lane. Is fouled from behind, and that'll be the 5th on the team. And so to the free throw line will go Schladerer with a chance to ice this thing down with 4.3 on the game clock. This very much will be a what-if game for the Bruins, again, who led by as many as 20 in the third. Not able to hold it, though, as things really lit up from the three-point line in the fourth quarter for the Falcons. Sarah Lutz with 15 points, all of them in the second half after a quiet first half. Tankersley had a couple of huge threes. Foote had a big one as well. Schladerer has been big for this Falcons team throughout. Kind of kept him in the game a little bit when things were really going south for them. at one point in the third quarter, but they were able to pull it together. Give Coach Wadlington and his group a lot of credit. Came in here with 6 players off a long bus trip, and they're going to get the win here tonight, as making both at the line is Schlatterer. So 68-62 is Coach Money calls his final timeout of the ball game. We'll try to get something with 4.3 on the game clock. A reminder, we'll have post-game coverage where we'll hear from Coach Money, who undoubtedly will be a little bit disappointed in the outcome of this one. Reminder that tomorrow night we will have coverage of the Bruins men's team, as they will be back out here tomorrow to take on the Wildcats from Johnson and Wales, who will visit from Charlotte. It'll be a 7 o'clock tip time right here on the Bruins Sports Network. 6:55 will be our air time. I'll be with you for that one as well. Hope you'll join us for that one as the Bruin men's team looks for their 6th win of the season. But still 4.3 seconds left to play in this one. 68-62 our score, as the Falcons have rallied from 20 down to retake the lead and look like they're going to get out of here with their 9th win of the season. Out of the timeout, Scott will throw it in. Scott in for Kessler. Kessler in the corner for Lane, fires the quick trigger 3 off the front of the rim. The rebound taken down by the Falcons, and that is your ball game. 68-62 the final score in this one, as the Falcons pick up their 9th win of the season. The Bruins drop to 2-4 on the year. We'll have post-game coverage coming up here in just a few moments after this on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
This program is unique in that it addresses 3 key leadership areas: organizational management, educational administration, and ministry administration.
I would say the payoff is in ways that I never imagined. I never thought I would have such a supportive network. I never thought I would meet such great people who were at different points in their life. I mean, you can be sitting next to someone who's the CEO, and you sit next to people who are doctors. You also sit next to people who are stay-at-home moms who have decided to go back to school. It has enriched me in ways I just never thought the PhD program would.
I have a nuclear engineering technology bachelor's degree. I got an MBA from a secular school, and I knew that there was a whole Christian aspect of leadership. You read the books about Nehemiah, David, Christ himself. And so I wanted to build that into my learning and knowledge, so I started looking for a Christian college.
Piedmont comes across my computer, and they're on the top of all these lists, best this, top that, top 25, and I said, okay, this school seems to have a reputation for academic excellence.
The professors, the relationships we're building, and the leadership program is second to none. I'm able to use every single class I've taken in my business, and my business has grown. Not only my business, but I'm able to do community development and train other leaders, young leaders, middle-aged leaders, older leaders, and then I'm able to pass on leadership abilities and skills, to other people.
This program has a number of key strengths. Depending on which concentration, whether it's education or business or ministry, because it's a terminal degree, a PhD, it opens doors of opportunity. God can use this program in so many different ways. In pastoral ministry, it can open doors to greater opportunities to share Christ in different contexts. In organizational management, it opens doors to new leadership positions. For many of our students, that's been their story. And in educational administration, it has done the same as well.
Since I've been in the program, the flexibility of the schedule, because I had to relocate from one end of the country to the other. I had to go to China for 2 adoptions. Last year, my daughter had open heart surgery.
Game coverage begins here in Winston-Salem on the campus of Piedmont International University, where the Bruins fall today here to the Falcons from Florida College. 68-62 is the final score. Head coach Caleb Money joining us here on our post-game show. And Coach, certainly not any real nice way to sugarcoat this one. This was a 20-point game in the third quarter that kind of got away from you early in the fourth when they were able to cut it down from what was 20 down to 15 right at the end of that third quarter, and you kind of sensed there was going to be a run coming. Your team just wasn't able to hold it off.
Yeah, I said coming out, as long as we get stops, doesn't matter if we put the ball in the basket, and that's what we didn't do. We just didn't get stops, and just had a mental breakdown early in the fourth.
Now, there were a lot of positives to take away from this game. Certainly for about 2.5 quarters, your team maybe played its best game of the season, had incredible balance in the score sheet overall. 4 players in double figures, a fifth that was right there as well. But I thought maybe the player that helped the most in this one were the 2 inside in Monifa Angle and Arian Rumpf, who both played exceptionally well under the basket.
Absolutely. I thought we had an advantage there, and I really wanted to keep going to them. It looks like we're passing it around the perimeter a lot, but we're trying to get them set up inside. And when we're not advancing the ball, when we're not strong with the ball on the wing, we can't get our screen set up inside to get them an open look. And
Ashley Lane, sorry, go ahead.
No,
Coach.
You're fine. I really thought that they did impact the game a lot, and I thought that could win the game for us. We just fell apart.
Yeah, particularly in the first half. I thought when the Falcons were struggling to shoot the basketball, you were holding them to one shot. It was one and done on the offensive end, and I thought a lot of that had to do with both Rumpf and Angle, who did a really good job of keeping it to one shot. And then your group was also able to create some second chance opportunities, and that's how you kind of built that lead. In the third quarter, though, after the lead got out to 20, it was very festive in here. It seemed like everybody was having a good time, and then all of a sudden, when it got serious, what was the difference in the game at that point?
Well, they were having too good of a time on the bench also.
Yeah.
Just because we make girls fall in the corner doesn't mean we're going to win the game. And if I can say it, I mean, just look at all of the Instagram and Twitter videos. Chris Paul break somebody's ankles, but they lose the game by 10. Nobody tells anything about that, and that's killing what the culture around basketball is right now. But you're right. It just we lost focus on the bench. We couldn't keep it on the floor, and that goes all the way back to practice, and that falls on me. So I've got to take care of that.
Now, once the lead did get away, it seemed like your team was able actually to kind of put its feet on the ground a little bit towards the end. You did make a couple of big plays. You had the big basket from Rumpf after the lead got away initially, and you were able to make some plays, and it seemed like the opportunity was there to steal this game back from them. Just not enough shots would fall down the stretch in the last couple of minutes.
They wouldn't fall. Lack of execution. We couldn't get the ball where we needed to on that last play, even down 6. It's a 2-possession game. I know there's 4 seconds left, but if we get the ball inbounded to the right person, we shoot the shot. We shoot the basket with 4 seconds and not 2 seconds. So it's just lack of execution, and again, it falls back on me.
Now, this is a very young program, and this is the first time that they've really been thrown into a situation like this, even at home or on the road, where they were trying to hold off and having to kind of show some mental toughness. So despite the loss here, I've got to believe that this is an opportunity for you as a coach and for this team to grow a little bit, having experienced this now and being able to kind of hopefully take this experience and move forward with it.
It is. If we handle this the right way, we can really learn from it and we can grow from it. And you're going to take these bumps. You are. It looks so great early on, but we need 40 minutes and not 30. And if we take this the right way, we can certainly learn from it.
Tough night, Coach, but brighter days. Certainly had a lot of talent on this group that will get better as they get older and the more experiences like this.
Agreed.
Coach Money, thanks for joining us, and best of luck next time out.
Thank you, guys. Shout out to my wife who's at home, 4 weeks from her due date. Little Carter on the way. I know she couldn't make it tonight, but I'm sure she's watching. Love you, babe.
That's Coach Money joining us here on our postgame show. 68-62 is the final score as Florida College rallies from down 20 to pick up the win here tonight over the Bruins to run their record to 9-6 on the season. The Bruins dropping to 2-4. We'll take one more time out. When we come back, we'll wrap things up after this here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.
Yeah. Low. Yeah. 360 in the contract, never that. I just take the contact, I bring it back. I'm running on the fast break, behind the back. Yeah, this that penny with the shack.
If he's passing me the rock, it might not get it back. They never gave a hand, now they wanna give me that. I don't know where you been, I got fear of God, ain't no fear of man. These them air minios, yeesh, need a pair of them.
LA, man, I feel like magic. LA, I can't stand the traffic. West side for the vacation. Yeah, Westbrook on the isolation.
Yeah. So New York City gotta keep it Mickey Mantle, the bubble jacket with the periwinkle camo, From Argentina, it's a military issue, And Lloyd said don't mix the pitbull with the shit, so don't do it.
I just threw it off the backboard. Game winner, I'm the one they asked for. Magic.
Bird.
Magic.
Bird.
Magic.
Bird.
Magic.
we intend to win, and the others too.
Final segment of the Bruins post-game show as we break down tonight's matchup. The final score 68-62 is Florida College again rallies from down 20 to knock off the Bruins here tonight, picking up their 9th win of the season. The Bruins dropping to 2-4 on the year. Just a couple of leading scores to tell you about. Double figures for 4 different players for the Bruins, led by Ashley Lane, who finished with 15 points in the game. Monifa Engel finishing with 13, Amaya Scott with 12, and then Arian Rumpf also with 11 in double figures. 4 players in double figures as well for the Falcons, led in the ball game by Sajay Schlatter, who finished with 20 points tonight, and then Sarah Lutz finishing with 15, all of those coming in the second half, including some big baskets late. Ariana Tankersley with 11, as well as Colin Springer also with 11. A reminder, our final broadcast of the week will come up tomorrow night as the Bruins men's team will be in action as they get set to take on the visitors from Charlotte. That's Johnson and Wales, the Wildcats, who come into tonight's action at 2-8, tomorrow night's action rather, at 2-8 on the season, losers of their last 8, but one of those 2 wins is over this same Bruins team way back on November the 7th. So the Bruins men's team will be looking for a little bit of payback as well as getting their record above 500, sitting at 5-5 on the season. That game will come your way tomorrow night right here from courtside in Winston-Salem at 7 o'clock. We will have the opening tip-off of that game coming your way at 7 o'clock, and then I will have the call for you with the pregame show beginning at 6:55. But again, our final score here today, 68-62. I want to thank everybody for listening. We apologize for some of the technical difficulties we were having earlier in this one, but on top of it, and we hope everybody enjoyed the broadcast here tonight. So for everybody a part of this broadcast tonight, including our producer and engineer, Mason Cox, I'm Dave Shook, reminding you our final score again here tonight, 68-62, as the Bruins fall to the Falcons right here on the Bruins Sports Network from Carolina Sports Live.